Good afternoon. Hey, it's great to be here with you all. I am a gun rights advocate back home in Detroit, Michigan. You know, my road has been a very interesting one. You know, just really like 15 years ago, violent crime victim, literally in my own driveway. Coming home from work, just parking my car in the driveway. Literally, I live in a community in which you can literally be robbed and killed right in your own driveway. And you know what? It seems like it's just another story. And that's the reason why, you know, I took it upon myself to take on a more active role in my personal protection. It is why I became a trained firearms instructor, a training counselor. It is a reason why I looked at individuals in my community, particularly women, and said, you know what, look at all the crimes and the violent assaults and the rapes that are happening against women in my community. Just this past calendar year, the stats came out. In the city of Detroit proper, within our geographical borders, we've had over 800 women who have been sexually assaulted just in the city of Detroit. So it's when you look at some of those things that happened and that occur, you know, particularly in our large urban environments, usually nothing can really be done to really affect those types of things, unless you have some individuals who are willing to come together and try to address it, you know, at its root, at its source. Well, you're like, well, gee, Rick, what are you talking about? Well, if we're talking about women being sexually assaulted, then why don't someone just take it upon themselves to reach out to those women and to offer them resources, offer them free training such that they could defend themselves if someone's trying to rape them. And you know what? It's not necessarily an easy sell to find resources to do these kinds of things. But fortunately for me, you know, I reached out to my fellow firearms trainers and I got them to donate their time. You know, you reach out to the gun shops, and yes, you ask enough gun shops, eventually you'll find someone who will loan you a gun shop, and you can go into the gun shop and have the access free of charge. You can actually find fellow firearms trainers who will donate their time all day, who will be there to actually help you train those students. As a matter of fact, if you ask enough gun manufacturers, you'll find one who will loan you about 50 guns. You ask enough ammo companies to give you free ammo. Eventually, you'll find one that will give you 20,000 rounds of ammo. So all of the women that you're training can have access to the tools and the resources that they need. And here's the thing. I've grown this event 9 years ago from 50 women. I did 50 women that first year, and then 100, 200, 400, 600. Last year, 814. This year, we're going to train 1,000 women on how to shoot and operate a gun on May 17th in Detroit, Michigan. And you know what? People say, well, gee, Rick, that is really cool. You need to take something like this on the road. Like, come to Florida and do something like that down here. I mean, you know, wherever. You know, I don't have a problem with opening up and sharing with people what it takes to do something like this. But I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of people who are committed to the cause. It takes individuals who are willing to step outside their comfort zone and do things like ask strangers for money, ask ammo companies for ammo, ask gun manufacturers for guns, to ask people to help you, and to ask women to come take advantage of the training. But you know what? If you feel that what you're doing is worth it, if you look at the statistics and you say, well, gee, someone needs to step up and do something that's going to help empower these people, then you know what? It's worth it. And you'll do what is required. You will make it happen. You will talk to people. You will go places you've never gone. You will talk to people you've never talked to. You'll be nervous. You'll be standing in front of groups of people with microphones in your hand. And you'll say stuff like, hey, come up to Detroit. Come help me. I've had people come from other states and they'll drop in. And then some guy will be like, come camping in February, right? How many of y'all were actually, speaking of which, how many of you were all actually out here last night when it was freezing last night? How many people were out here? You know what? It gets cold like this back home in Detroit, but you know what? When I'm back home in Detroit, it's like I'm walking through it from the car in the driveway up to my front door, and I'm inside and I'm cutting the heat on. But you know what? I'll say this. It was a first time unique experience. I had never gone camping in my life. I swear to God, never, for one. So I want to thank you for that. And I did it outdoors in February. That's got to be worth like a scavenger hunt, you know, post or something. You know, I should win something for that. But, you know, back to my original, you know, conversation. You know, I truly, you know, appreciate coming to places I've never gone, you know, and meeting people I've never met and talking about the things that we're doing to empower people back home. And when it comes to empowering those of us that need the protection most, you know, I look at the women in my community back home in Metro Detroit, and they need it more than anyone else. As a matter of fact, I would say that women all over the country need to empower themselves. And I tell you what, I can't think of a greater personal defense tool than a firearm fully loaded with like 9mm hollow points and the proper training to actually smoothly pull that trigger back with that front sight right at center mass. But let me tell you, it's been great being here, and I want to thank you for the opportunity. And you know what? I will definitely look forward to being back here tomorrow because you guys truly rock. Thank you very much.